Hello golfers, PGA teaching professional Todd Cope here. Welcome to the replay of our video today where we're talking about great ways to improve your putting, covering a lot of information, drills, types of putters, questions, you name it. We're covering a lot of great information here today. So we're excited to kind of start diving into this and really sharing some things with you that are going to help you, become a better putter. And one of the things, that we really like to do is we like to make sure that we get the opportunity for people to go ahead and ask questions. So we're getting everything kind of loaded up here. Today we're inside in the studio because it's pretty cold out. It's definitely should normally be type of golf season for us. But we're inside today, but that's okay. We can still cover a lot of great information for you and do some good stuff. So as always, when you first get here, if you don't mind, be sure to make a comment. Let us know that you're here. We'd like to know where people are from. We get people from all over the world who log into our YouTube channel. We're looking for great information and really sharing our passion that we have for golf. So once you get here, be sure to do that. And then also, for those of you who are watching this live right now, we got a big tournament starting today. We got my main man, Nick, behind the camera. Nick, who you got picking for the Masters here?
I'm going with Ricky Fowler. I want a first-time guy to win the major. So.
All right. And that would be the second time. Last year, I think Sergio Garcia won. That was his first major, if I'm correct on that. So, like I said, once you get here, be sure to let us know you're here. Make a comment. Let us know who you think is going to win the Masters, and we can have a little bit of dialogue back and forth. But let's get into some of this putting stuff here, because I know that's why a lot of you are here watching already. So, we could spend, Nick, I don't think we've got enough battery life on the camera to talk about all the things that have to do with putting, right? I mean,
no, we don't.
So we got to get into some stuff here. So the first thing I want to talk about is putter design. So I'm going to grab a couple different ones here. Now at the Academy, we've got all kinds of different putters. People send us putters because they want us to do reviews or they want some of our students to use them. So we've got all different kinds. I personally use a Scotty. Curious to know what type of putter you guys and gals like and what you might be using. But these are a couple different ones we have around here. So basically, there's kind of three different styles of putters. And it's a little bit of a personal preference. So we have, I'm going to call this one, I like to call it like a face balanced putter. So you'll notice when I'm holding this putter, see how the face is balanced. That's why I like the word, it's face balanced. And this is a very popular style of putter. This happens to be a PNP putter, but I mean, every manufacturer makes a face balanced putter. But they're very popular right now because one is they make impact very easy, and there's not a lot of rotation in the face, and I think also they're easy to line up. So I've got a lot of players who are using that style of putter. So if you really struggle with your putting or you're new to the game, I would probably suggest you start with something that's a face balanced putter. It's a good place to start. Now the other style is kind of what we call like I like to use the word hybrid. It's got like a hybrid, so it doesn't fall. You'll notice, guys and gals, doesn't fall straight down like this. All right, it's not the face balance that you just saw. It's kind of in between. I like to call it a hybrid. So it's got a little bit more weight on the toe than it does on the heel. Now, this is the style that I personally use. I don't know, whatever that's worth, but I guess that works for me. But it allows for a little bit of what we call toe swing. So there's a little bit of opening and closing of the face. Now, based on the instructor, you'll hear a lot of different philosophies on that. Should the putter swing straight back and straight through, or should it have a little bit of an arc? So I'd be curious if anybody out there, if you've got any thoughts on that. Should the putter be straight back and straight through, or do you think it should have a little bit of arc to it? I got my own personal preference that I'll share with you here in a little bit, but I'd be curious to see if anybody out there has any thoughts on that. So those are a couple of the different styles. There's basically three of them. Once again, let's review this, Nick. We've got the face balance, which would be just where when you hold it and you balance it, the face stays square like that or straight. You've got what I like to call the hybrid, where it falls a little bit, which allows for a little bit more toe swing. And then you've got the one that goes all the way kind of straight down, which is like a toe hang. Those are pretty popular. Ben Crenshaw used one like that for quite a while. He won 2 Masters, so had to work pretty well for him. Phil Mickelson used one like that for quite a while there as also. So those are a couple different things about putting. I'm going to go over here and refresh this a little bit. We got quite a few people logging on already, so this is fantastic. Like I said, if you've got any questions or anything that you want us to talk about, be sure to let us know that and pop it in there. So let's dive into a couple of the different drills. So I'd be curious to know out there, is there anybody like, do you have any questions, like what's something with putting that maybe you struggle with a little bit? So that we can maybe dive into some specifics and get some of your questions answered there as well. But before we do that, where we have a couple people comment in there, let me share with you a couple of my favorite drills. Because one of the most important things, we got one fired in there. Tyler asked a question here, which we'll get to in just a second. Anybody else has got any questions, be sure to fire them off in there. The biggest mistake that I see most people struggle with in terms of their putting is they have too much movement. And their body moves, their head moves. Typically they'll say, hey, you're pulling your head or you're moving your head when you're hitting a putt. So one of my favorite drills to work on that is just a simple lead foot only drill. So we'll have a lot of our students here hit putts just bouncing on their lead foot. So I'm a right-handed golfer, so I'm going to go ahead and bounce on my lead foot, and I'm just going to go ahead and make some strokes back and through. And try to get a sense of where my balance is on my left foot, my lead foot. Not only in terms of left and right, but also toe and heel. So this is a great drill. It's a lot harder than it looks, where you're sitting in here and you're balanced, and you're just trying to hit putts, staying right like that. That's probably my favorite drill. I give that drill to all the tour pros that I work with, my best high school and college players. It's part of their natural routine that they do every single time. So let me go ahead over here, Nick. We got a couple questions here. All right, so Tyler says, I feel like I putt best when I feel like the putter swings straight back and straight through. I hit off the toe most of the time. This is frustrating. So what are some things we could do with that? I've got a drill, we'll talk about that. And Jordan asked a little bit about warming up. Okay, a couple of great questions there. So impact, creating good impact is really difficult, I think, for all of us when it comes to putting. So there's a lot of things that can impact, right? Movement, something we talked about, putter style, all those things. Let me give you a drill that you could do to help you with that. So this is something we use quite a bit here. This is called the putting stick. You could get one of these. I'll switch it around here so Nick, so everybody can see. It's called the putting stick. You could look this up online. Get one of these. One of the beauties about this, you can use it inside. I love practice drills that you can and trainings that you can use inside. But in essence, it's a ruler. Okay, so what you do is you're just going to put it on the ground here, and I'm going to go ahead and place the ball down here. And Nick, I don't know if you can show that there, but there's a little indentation here, and I just put the ball kind of right in there. Pretty simple. And you're just going to hit putts and see if you can get the ball to roll down that line. Now this is tough. I guess I'll try to demonstrate it. This is live, so we can't really, my good friend Nick can't edit it out. But all you're going to do is you put it on there. All right, Nick, let's see if we can do this here, huh? Do we have any odds? Anybody out there got any odds on being able to roll this thing straight down there the whole time?
I'll give you 3 to 1.
3 to, ooh, I like that. Hey, not bad, huh? Not bad for an early morning here. So this is a ruler. Now, the width of it, I don't know. I would say, I don't know, what would you say, Nick? Maybe an inch or so?
Yeah, maybe a little thinner than an actual yardstick would be.
So anyhow, you go to your local hardware store, grab something like that. That's a great drill. Will help Tyler there with, getting the ball. You feel like you're hitting him on the toe or the heel. If you can roll it, Tyler, down that, you are going to be off and running. So there's a good one for there. I've got a couple other good comments coming in here. Robert, my members keep telling me I'm cutting across the putt. Oh, good. Straight back through. Not sure what's causing this. Great question. All right, Robert. Thank you for asking that. I'll be curious to see. How about Tyler or Jordan, if you guys are still on, or Robert, who you got winning the Masters? If you got any picks out there, putting is going to be huge at the Masters. So why are we maybe cutting across it? Well, could be a variety of different things. So let me give you, I think the first drill, I'm not sure if you heard the first drill there, Robert, but one of them was where we putt with our lead foot only. Okay, I think that as an impact. Typically people are cutting across the putt. It's because they have too much body movement. They're kind of moving too far back and forth that way. So I would start with this left foot only drill. I think is a great one to do. The other one, let's see here. I love just simple drills, simple training. Like this is just an alignment rod. You've probably got one of those, all right, somewhere. If you don't, I mean, just go to your hardware store once again and pick up this. Just a yard deal, and you can go ahead and put it down here. Now, I personally, Robert, like to place it on the outside of the ball. So I'm hitting a putt this way. Just going to place it a little bit on the outside there, and it's a good visual for me in terms of where my putter head is. So you'll notice where the toe is at. relative to that. So you can just set in here, you don't even need a ball, and just make strokes back and through. And see where that's at. Now you're going to know right away, obviously, if you're cutting out and across it. Hey, let's get down the line there, Nick. So we can see here where, you know, personally I like to see just a little bit of an arc. We've talked about that with the putter design earlier. I see that. But you'll know if you're going out and cutting across it. So that's a good visual for you, and that might help as well, Robert. Another thing that you could do, if you want something a little bit more advanced, is these are pretty popular right now. These kind of, I don't know if you call them like, what do you call it, Nick? Like a template or like a,
Yeah.
something like that. So
So putting mat gives you kind of a feel for where you're going.
So this is one we use here. It's by Wellputt, wellputt.com. You can look that up online. We use their, Nick, real quick, can you swing the camera on? This right here, this putting turf right here, guys, this is from Wellputt. We custom ordered this because we got the logo down there. You can see, sorry, we got a little bit of a mess here. We're right in between spring and summer season, so we got a lot of stuff here, but this is really good for putting mat. So if you're looking to get a putting mat, the turf from Wellputt is really good. And so that's where we got that. If you're looking to do something at home or just buy a stretch of it to, maybe you got a putting area in the basement or something like that. But back to the mat here. So this is, let's go ahead and set this up. Now this actually provides even more of a visual. So there's a little hole here. There's a couple different manufacturers that make these things. But Robert, this might help you also because it gives you the good visual of where you're at. I'll go ahead and hit a putt here and you can just see where you want that putter to shape back and through. Now, they've got these little holes here so you can even put tees in there that would force the putter to work in those certain angles. So you see the little bit of holes here, there's one here and all the way back. That can kind of help you go through there. So that's hopefully that answers your question. I'm not sure if that's kind of what it did there, but hopefully that does. All right, now earlier, Jordan asked about warming up. Okay, warming up. Now, that's a good question because most of the time, you know, when you get to the golf course, if you're like me, you're busy, you're running around, you're just trying to sneak in a quick 9. So you don't have probably a lot of warm-up time when it comes to putting. So what should we do? Well, let's put this away. I would do 2 things. I've got a couple balls here. I would hit some putts that are distance putts, lag putting. So, Nick, let's do this. Let's come on down here. So let's say this was the putting green. I would just put a couple balls down, and all I would do is hit some long putts. So I'm just going to try to putt these down here to the fringe. And just what you're trying to do there, Jordan, is just get a feel for the speed of the greens. Now, these are inside. They're pretty quick. I don't know if they're as quick as Augusta National. I doubt that. But just trying to hit some longer putts where you don't even have to roll it to a hole, but to get a feel for the speed of the greens. I would do that, number 1. Number 2 is I would hit some putts real close to the hole. So let me show you what I mean by that. This is probably the best tip you're going to hear all day. Nick, I'll go over here. So I've got a couple balls. I put them real close to the hole. I mean, I'm talking literally like 12 inches, 10 inches, something like this. And I would put those into the hole. Now, the reason I would do that, everybody hear that sound? That's a distinct sound when that ball goes in the cup that we love to hear. And just having that sound and that visual of the ball going in the hole, even if it's just a short little putt, is exactly what you want in your head when you walk to the first tee. The most common mistake I see people make is they hit these like 8 or 10 footers before a round, and they miss, and they miss, and they miss, and then they go to the first tee, and then they're like, oh man, in the back of their head, they're like, I just missed a bunch of putts, and they think they're going to have a bad putting day. So I would change that, hit some short ones. So those are 2 things that I would do, Jordan, in terms of the warm-up. So hopefully that helps you out. Looks like we got another couple questions. This is fantastic. All right, we've got, all right, great. Ryan says, how can I gain confidence over a 5-foot putt in a pressure situation? We can talk about that. Okay, Robert says, thanks. You bet. Hey, thank you, Robert. Thanks for logging in and watching. Hopefully you've subscribed. We love sharing what we know about golf. We don't know everything, but we know a little bit, and we like to share that, and we love having the dialogue back and forth. So thank you for watching. If you have any other questions, be sure to fire them out there. So Ryan's asking, how do we gain confidence over a 5-foot putt in a pressure situation? Well, a little bit what I would do is I'm going to go back to what I just mentioned in that I would hit some putts that are nice and close to the hole. Okay, now let me give you a drill to help you with that. I think, Robert, that will help you, or excuse me, Ryan, that will help you with that. So this is a drill I picked up from one of my tour professionals, plays on the LPGA. She just shared this with me a little while ago. And that's the beauty, guys and gals, of golf, is that, man, everybody learns from each other. I mean, I have students, but sometimes those students teach me. I mean, I learn things from them. Because they're like, hey, this is what I did, this worked, or this didn't work. So we're always learning from each other. But here's the drill, anyhow, that she shared with me. So it's a really simple drill. You're going to start with the first ball, like super close to the hole, like 4 inches. Okay, you're going to go ahead, and I'm going to move these out of here. I think this might take a little bit, but maybe nice and wide so they can see this. So you just put the first one in. All right, now I'm going to move it back literally like 6 more inches. Put that in. Okay, and I'm going to keep going back. Now, just in terms of saving some time here, you would continue to do that, moving back at roughly about anywhere from 6 to a foot each time, till you get to that point where you're like, okay, now all of a sudden you notice your brain starts thinking about it. Right? Like, okay, I'm thinking about this putt. Now, when I had a 6-inch putt, I didn't even think about it. I just tapped it in, right? But there will come a point, a certain distance, where you'll start thinking about that. And that's for Ryan, probably he mentioned, is like at a 5-foot putt. So how do I gain more confidence? So that's one way you could practice that, is to get to that point and try to get comfortable moving a little bit further back. And what you might find there, Ryan, is that maybe you get to like 6 feet or 8 feet and you still have some confidence because you're doing that drill. The other thing, Ryan, that I would do is I would work real hard on visualizing the ball going in the hole. Now, a lot of people, they say, well, what do you mean by visualizing it? Let me give you an example. Let's see here. So I got 3 balls here. Now this is going to be a little hard to do because we're inside and it's a flat putt. Well, at least if our concrete guys poured it, it's flat, right, Nick? Is it flat? You shot a lot of video here. What do you think? All right, so this is a little bit hard to visualize, but it's going to help. This is probably the best tip I can give you, Ryan, to help you with that, is to be able to visualize where the ball is going to enter the cup. So let's say, guys and gals, that this putt has a strong break from right to left. Okay, so it's going out to the right and it's coming into the left. Or excuse me, working to the left. So the question is where is the ball going to enter the cup? Where's because you always get half of the cup to work with. So as an example, I've got a putt right here, and let's say this is a perfectly straight putt. Well, the half of the cup that you have to work with is obviously the front half of it, right? Because the ball's coming in right like this. If they can see that there. Hopefully you guys can see it. Maybe back up a little bit, Nick. They can, yeah, there you go. Okay, so notice, guys, that it's a straight putt, so it's a straight line into the cup. So the half of the cup that I have to work with is the front half, right? But let's say that the putt has some break. Well, this is not the half of the cup I got to work with, because the ball's not coming in here. Let's say it's coming in over here. Let's say it works something like this. I don't know if you can show that. Hopefully you guys can see that there. So you'll notice the putt is arcing and curving in. So the half of the cup that I have to work with now is angled over here. So what's important is that when you visualize that putt, because a lot of confidence comes with being able to picture what you want to happen versus what you do not want to happen, right? Now this putt's got, I'm not coming back, and this putt's got some pretty big break, doesn't it? Let me move this over a little bit. So when I visualize this putt, when I'm here making my practice motions, I would be picturing where the ball is going to enter the cup. So I always ask myself, where's the center of the cup? So in this particular example, as we just said, I'm working with that half there. So hopefully that helps you out a little bit there, Ryan. That's a little bit about one drill you can do, which is just slowly move the ball back 6-inch increments or 8-inch increments until you feel like you start feeling a little bit different. And then also, when you're playing around a golf, be sure to visualize where you think that ball is going to be going into the cup there. All right, so hopefully that helps. All right, we've got maybe a couple other ones. That's great. Thanks for the tips. All right, yeah, Robert says he's been using alignment sticks similar to what, that's great. Yeah, I love that. Those alignment rods, you can use those for a lot of different things. So let me share everybody here. Let me give you one more tip. And if you got any other questions, be sure to fire them in there. Hopefully, already, if you haven't already, hopefully you've subscribed to our channel. Nick and I just shot a video this morning. Nick, we shot a couple of them. What did we shoot them on?
We did one with the tees so that you wouldn't be looking at your putt, lifting your head. And the other one was.
Yeah, so we did one on a tee to kind of keep your body nice and steady. That was a really good one that we did. And then we did a couple other ones on a variety of different putting things that we're talking about. That's kind of the theme of the day. Nick and I were talking before we got started. Hey, it's Masters. Putting is going to be huge. So let's talk a little bit, about that. Then we gave a new drill, really good one. It's not available yet. Nick's got to take it home and edit it. But I can promise you, it has to do with the angle of attack when it comes to putting. I guarantee you've never thought about it before, and I guarantee you it's going to help your putting. So if you subscribe to the channel, you'll be sure to get notifications on that. So let me share with you one more drill here before we kind of wrap her up, unless anybody else has got any other questions. And that is addresses the most common mistake that I see people make with putting. And that is that they pull their head, or they move, or whatever. You can say whatever. They peek, you name it. You can say whatever you want. So here's a drill that I use. It's called the Lookaway Drill. So I got a penny in my pocket. I'm going to take this penny, and I'm going to put it back behind the ball, roughly, I don't know, it doesn't matter, 12 inches, let's say, in a direct line with the ball. Now, I'm using a penny. You could use a golf tee. You could use any object, but something back there. Now, what you're going to do here is when you come in contact with the ball, you're going to look back at that object, the penny in this example. You're going to keep looking at that until you believe that the ball's gotten to the cup. So I'm just going to putt this one to the fringe since I don't have a cup lined up right now. So I'm going to putt it. I'm going to look back at that penny until I think the ball just got to the fringe. That was pretty close. So there's two things that are happening here. Number one is it's helping keep your body nice and steady. Number two is it's training your feel and your reaction to like, okay, what did that putt feel like? And how far is it traveling and at what rate? So it's not just the drill to help you stay steady, it's also a drill to help you get in kind of in touch with, okay, what did that putt feel like in my hands and how is that ball rolling? That's a huge thing. What you'll see most people is that they'll look back at it and then their head will come up because they think the ball's to the hole and it's not there already. Or vice versa. They'll look up and the ball's well past the hole. Okay, so once again, got a ball. Obviously, in this particular example, I've got a penny. I got set up here. I'm going to look back at the penny until I believe that the ball has just got to the fringe. And hopefully you're looking up just as it's getting to the fringe, or in your example might be a cup. So that's a nice drill that can really, it's one of my favorites of all time that can help you with your putting. So I think, Nick, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. We've covered a lot of good information here today. We had some great questions. We really like the dialogue. We're going to be doing more of these as we're getting into the golf season. And so we love hearing from you. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, also on Instagram at US Golf TV, and our main spot at usgolftv.com. That's where we've got tons of articles, videos, content, anything that can help you play better golf. So thanks again for logging in. Thanks for your questions. Enjoy the Masters. If you're watching this live right now, be sure to carve out some time to watch that. And we look forward to seeing you next time.